Okay, so you hear the term cloud computing thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? Let's break it down with a quick story. So picture this. You have a brilliant idea. You spend all your nights and weekends building a website for it. You pour your heart and soul into this thing, and finally, you launch it.
And it works. Users start trickling in. You get a steady stream of about 1,000 people visiting your site. It's a success. And, your server's handling it just fine.
At this point, everything is perfect. Your idea has found its audience. You've built a solid foundation. The tech is working, your users are happy, and you're feeling pretty confident. But then, something totally unexpected happens. Your idea goes viral, and what feels like a dream come true, well, it quickly turns into a technical nightmare. This is what we call the problem of success. Suddenly, your traffic just explodes. It goes from 1,000 users to 1 million. An absolutely incredible number, right? But your little setup was never ever built to handle that kind of load. And just like that, it's gone. The site is down. Every single one of those potential new users gets an error message. Your success has literally broken your business. So what do you do now? Well, in the past, you'd have to solve this problem the old-fashioned way, which was incredibly expensive and just really inefficient. And as you can see, the difference is night and day. The old way meant buying these bulky physical servers. We're talking a massive upfront investment. And the biggest problem? What happens if your traffic drops back down? All that expensive hardware just sits there collecting dust, wasting money. It was a total all-or-nothing gamble. But thankfully, there's a new way. And this is where cloud computing comes in and completely changes the game. So let's break this term down. The first part, cloud, is really just a fancy way of saying the internet. That's all it is. It's the global network that lets you access services and data from pretty much anywhere. The computing part, well, that refers to all the stuff you actually need to run your website. Data storage, the raw processing power to handle all those users, databases, software, all the digital nuts and bolts. But the key word here, the absolute game changer, is rent. See, you don't build this infrastructure yourself, no way. Instead, you rent it from huge companies that have already built these massive, mind-bogglingly large data centers all over the world. And I'm sure you've heard of the biggest players in this space, right? We're talking about companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. They own all the hardware, and they're the ones renting out little pieces of it to you over the internet. And this brilliant model is what lets you use all their power with unbelievable flexibility. So let's go back and see how this solves our crashed website problem. Okay, so your traffic spikes to 1 million users. Instead of panicking, you just rent more power instantly. Your website stays online and handles the load perfectly. Then, when the traffic goes back down, you simply stop renting that extra power. You only pay for exactly what you use right when you use it. Zero waste. And this really gets to the heart of the fundamental shift. It's a move away from ownership to on-demand access. Think of it this way. You're not buying a car anymore. You're just hailing a cab whenever you need a ride. So what's the big takeaway here? What does this all really mean for us? Why is this technology so revolutionary? It means innovation has been completely democratized. You don't need a huge investment to buy servers and build an IT department just to launch a big idea anymore. A single person with a laptop can now access the exact same world-class computing power as a giant corporation, and they only have to pay for what they use. And that leaves us with one final thought. Just think about companies like Netflix or Spotify, or the countless startups you use every single day. They were all built on the cloud. Without this ability to just rent power on demand, would any of them even exist? What would our world actually look like today?